Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Please take your seats.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to November 2025 full City Council meeting. Tonight's meeting is being held in City Council chambers and being streamed live on City 12 TV, as well as the City Council's YouTube and Facebook pages. We also continue to post meeting information and materials on the city's website. The meeting will now come to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gruber. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupien.
Here.
Councilmember Martin. Councilmember Monroe.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Smith. Vice President Harris.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
I believe Council members Martin and Smith are in the building, so they'll join us momentarily.
Here they are.
Oh, there we are. So tonight I would like to ask the council to join me in a moment of silence to honor the people and families in Jamaica and across the Caribbean who were hit by Hurricane Melissa. Rochester has a vibrant Jamaican and Caribbean islands communities, and we hold space for every family facing loss, injury, and the work ahead towards recovery. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Councilmember Lightfoot, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? So at this time, I'd like to invite my colleagues to the podium for tonight's recognitions. So to begin our recognition ceremony this month, we want to honor and acknowledge every organization working to meet the food and nutritional needs of our neighbors. As our nation continues to navigate significant changes, including the recent federal shutdown, many families are experiencing confusion and concern about where to access food. Tonight and through our City Council social media pages, we are highlighting the many organizations across the greater Rochester area that have stepped up to provide fresh and shelf-stable food to our residents. There are far too many dedicated partners to name individually or to invite to these chambers tonight, so we felt it was most appropriate to express our collective gratitude and appreciation for all of you. We are deeply grateful to the volunteers, community groups, and nonprofits who have raised funds, organized distribution efforts, and ensure that anyone who needs food has a place to find it. You're the backbone of a community that truly cares for one another, and your work strengthens the ecosystem of support that makes Rochester who we are. So the council has sent a letter and a certificate of recognition to more than 100 emergency food efforts and organizations, thanking them for their incredible work. Tonight we honor you, and we thank you for your continued commitment to our residents. But before we conclude this portion of the recognition, I want to also note that there's been recent changes to the SNAP program. Monroe County has published updated information and resources, and the council will be sharing those links on our social media platforms. So please help us spread the word to ensure that city residents and all others around the region understand the changes and also are provided access to the support that they need. I do want to invite Councilmember Gruber to share just a few quick highlights of SNAP changes so that people in the community understand what those might be.
Thank you, President Melendez. Let me first just express my my gratitude for the many volunteers, community members, donors, individuals who have made sure that in the time of crisis in the last month or so, there has been just unbelievable generosity and support of the Emergency Food Network. These are food pantries, community meal programs, shelters that exist in every corner of our city, that are predominantly run by volunteers who are doing it out of the goodness of their heart and who saw unparalleled demand in the last month, in particular as confusion and chaos spread from DC into communities across the country. There's been a tripling of demand in the Emergency Food Network in Rochester in the last decade, a tripling. And there's two core reasons for it that I would just point out real quick. Number one is that there's a fairly sophisticated network of social services. There's an easy way for people to be able to find ways to donate food into a food bank and then the food pantries around the community. But the second, and in some ways the more important one, is that food pantries are oftentimes the front door for people to receive emergency food, any emergency services. You don't need to go and demonstrate any form of income requirement. You don't need to prove your ID or your physical address. You need to show up to a community organization in your neighborhood, let them know that you're in need, and there will be food for you. That's a remarkable thing, but we should all also acknowledge that there is no such thing as hunger in Rochester, New York, without it being first poverty. Hunger is just another word for poverty, which makes the upcoming changes to SNAP even more problematic. In the bill passed by the federal government back in July, it drastically changed work requirements and who is responsible for conducting said work requirements. Every single individual who maybe once had a waiver, people who are veterans, people who are experiencing homelessness, people who are over the age of 55, many of these individuals are now subject to work requirements. And the best piece of advice that I can give to anyone is if you get a piece of mail from Monroe County Department of Human Services, keep it. Open it, ask questions, consider your local elected officials, people who are here to answer questions for you and with you, and to try to make meaning of what comes in that letter. No one will see changes to their SNAP benefits without getting it in writing from Monroe County DHS or whatever county people live in if you're tuning in elsewhere. So please pay attention to that. There's constant advocacy to try to prevent these changes from actually happening, but the wheels are already in motion based on the unfortunate bill that was passed back in July. So the last thing I'll say, and then I'll close, is if you've never used the Emergency Food Network before and you're someone who is now potentially going to lose SNAP benefits in the coming months or year, please know the Emergency Food Network is for you. It is for everyone. If you need food, thank goodness there is food in this community available for folks. You can call 211. We're going to put all sorts of resources on the City Council page. Please go to it. And if you're someone who wants to contribute to the Emergency Food Network, please know that every single neighborhood has food pantries and soup kitchens that could use your help as a volunteer, as a donor, or as a friend. And together we can work hard to make sure that no one in this community goes to bed hungry on any given night. Thank you.
So next, will all those representing the Native Made Market please join us in the front? Let's give them a round of applause as they join us. So Rochester is the ancestral homelands of the Onondaga or Seneca Nation, known as the Great Hill People, or the Keepers of the Western Door. Together with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, Tuscarora, the Seneca make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Today, in honor of Native American Heritage Month, we pay respect and give thanks to their elders, past and present, and are recognizing the artists and organizers of the Native Made Market, a grassroots effort where indigenous artists, entrepreneurs, and educators share their talents and culture with the broader community and reflect on Indigenous excellence. On behalf of the citizens of Rochester, we thank you for your work to uplift Indigenous art and artists. Your participation and organizing for the 2025 Native Made Market is a testament to resilience, creativity, and community. You are a testament to the hard work that this community has put in and at the heart of what makes Rochester a bright, vibrant, and welcoming place for all. We want to thank you on behalf of the Rochester City Council and the community for all that you do, and to highlight, for those interested, the Native Made Market this year will be happening on Saturday, November 29th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the Eisenhart Auditorium at the Rochester Museum and Science Center. So we hope you all visit and do some support and shopping at this event. Thank you very much. Next, we have the approval of the minutes by Councilmember Gruber.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting on October 21st, 2025 be approved as published in the official sheets of the proceedings.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The following documents are hereby directed to be received and filed. The mayor submits the following: administrative cancellation or refund of erroneous taxes and charges for the month of December 2025. Delinquent receivables report for the month ending October 2025. The council submits disclosure of interest forms from Vice President Harris on introductory number 403, President Melendez on introductory numbers 404 and 416, and Councilmember Gruber on introductory number 416.
Thank you. These documents will be received and filed. It's now time for the presentation and reference of petitions and any other communications. Are there any petitions? Hearing none, we will now move on to the reports of standing committees and action thereon. Chairperson Patterson, the Neighborhoods, Jobs, and Housing Committee report, please.
To the Council, the Neighborhoods, Jobs, and Housing Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 402, authorizing the sale of real estate. Introductory number 403, authorizing the sale of real estate, appropriating 2025 through 2026 annual action plan funds, and authorizing a grant agreement for for the Rochester Roots single-family home project. Introductory number 404, authorizing the mandatory agreement related to the By the Block Phase 2 program. The Neighborhoods, Jobs, and Housing Committee recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 405, amending ordinance number 2025-236 relating to the sale of 60 Excel Drive and 510 Norton Street. This report is respectfully submitted by Council members Mitch Gruber, Kimberly Smith, Vice President Lachey D. Harris, President Miguel A. Melendez Jr., and myself, Michael A. Patterson.
Thank you, Chairperson Patterson. That report will be received and filed, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 402, authorizing the sale of real estate. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 403, authorizing the sale of real estate, appropriating 2025-26 annual action plan funds, and authorizing an agreement for the Rochester Roots single-family homes project. There is a disclosure on this item. Vice President Harris is the council liaison for the Land Bank Corporation, but she's only required to disclose this information and can participate in discussion and the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 404, authorizing a mandatory agreement relating to the By the Block Phase 2. There is a disclosure on this item as well, as I am a Greater Rochester Housing Partnership Board member. I will not be participating in discussion nor the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain? Motion carries. Introductory number 405, amending ordinance number 2025-236, relating to the sale of 60 Excel Drive and 510 Norton Street. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Vice President Harris, the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee report, please.
To the Council, the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee recommends adoption for the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 407, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $3 million, $100,000 bonds of said city to finance the acquisition of 1 roll-off truck, 3 side load refuse collection trucks, and 4 boom trucks for solid waste collection. Introductory number 408, appropriating funds and amending the budget related to the Upland Watershed Maintenance Agreement. Introductory number 409, authorizing an agreement related to the individual and group mental health therapy services. Introductory number 410, authorizing an agreement related to wraparound services for victims of crime. Introductory number 411, authorizing a grant agreement amending the 2025-26 budget for Flower City AmeriCorps program. The People, Parks, and Public Works Committee recommends consideration for the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 406, amending the official map relating to the Hincher Street Group Improvement Project. This report was respectfully submitted by Councilmember Willie J. Lightfoot, Councilmember Mary Lupien, Councilmember Michael A. Patterson, President Miguel A. Melendez Jr., and myself, Lachey D. Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Harris. The report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 406, amending the official map relating to the Hincher Street Group Improvement Project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 407, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $3,100,000 bonds of said city to finance the acquisition of 1 roll-off truck, 3 side load refuse collection trucks, and 4 boom trucks for solid waste collection. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupien.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith. Vice President Harris.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Introductory number 408, appropriating funds and amending the budget related to the Upland Watershed Maintenance Project, or maintenance agreement, excuse me. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 409, authorizing an agreement related to individual and group mental health therapy services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 410, authorizing an agreement related to wraparound services for victims of crime. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 411, authorizing a grant agreement and amending the 2025-26 budget for the Flower City AmeriCorps program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Gruber, the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee report, please.
To the Council, the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 412, appropriating unspent funds, amending the 25-26 budget, and amending grant agreements to continue 3 Office of Financial Empowerment programs. Introductory number 413, authorizing an amendatory agreement related to raise recommendation oversight. Introductory number 414, authorizing an amendatory agreement and appropriating funds related to the evaluation of the opioid action plan. Introductory number 415, authorizing an agreement related to the mainframe computer retirement program. Introductory number 416, authorizing an amendatory agreement for medical and health services for the police and fire departments. Introductory number 417, a resolution establishing the schedule for regular council meetings during 2026. The Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee recommends the following title legislation to be held in committee. Introductory number 419, amending the 25-26 budget, appropriating funds, and authorizing an agreement for Immigrant Justice Initiative services. This report was submitted by myself, Mitch Gruber, Council members Stanley Martin, Bridget Monroe, Vice President Lachey Harris, and President Miguel Melendez.
Thank you, Chairperson Gruber. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we will proceed with the vote. Introductory number 412, appropriating unspent funds, amending the 2025-26 budget, and amending grant agreements to continue 3 Office of Financial Empowerment programs. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 413, authorizing an amendatory agreement related to the race recommendation oversight. I have a comment on this item. We received an attachment B, which highlighted report recommendations that in many instances, based on what I looked at, are things that are already happening or underway. And I appreciate that there's some effort in monitoring this, but I think that following the passage of this legislation today, what I would hope to have further dialogue around is making sure that over the next year we have a greater sense of what deliverables will come with the contract, as I know this will be an extension of the current contract. And I welcome that conversation with the administration to dive further into what else will be happening this coming year in addition to what was provided in attachment B. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Or any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 414, authorizing a mandatory agreement and appropriating funds related to the evaluation of the opioid action plan. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 415, authorizing an agreement related to the mainframe computer retirement program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 416, authorizing a mandatory agreement for medical and health services for the police and fire departments. There are 2 disclosures on this item, Councilmember Gruber and myself, as our spouses both work for Rochester Regional, and we're only required to disclose that information but may participate in discussion and the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 417, a resolution establishing the schedule for regular council meetings during 2026. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Gruber, do you have a motion related to introductory 419?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to discharge introductory number 419 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so we'll vote on discharging 419 from committee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So I do want to have a quick discussion on this item. I've had some opportunity to sit down with Councilmember Martin about this, and we were discussing the potential of amending this item on the grounds of the idea that in the original legislation it was focused on emergency assistance and housing needs. So I did go back and look at that, as well as look at what's in our reserve in the council budget, if you will. And I understand the desire to find ways to materially support both the LGBTQ plus and immigrant communities. And I think that the resolution to that will be for us to work together to put out a RFP and RFQ and look at ways that we can materially support those initiatives. And we do have room in our reserve fund based on, should this pass tonight, there's still 1.9 million in the council reserve that we've designated for various purposes, that I think if we got RFP or RFQ responses to initiatives that the council would like to move forward with, we would be able to maneuver as we do every month with budget amendments. So I just wanted to be transparent and say that that was a request that that was made and that I did want to look into, and I do fully support the idea that we would continue to find ways to support our LGBTQ plus and immigrant neighbors. But I wanted to put that on the record that I do want to move forward with that process. In addition to that, I do want to say that this initiative that we are proposing to support tonight, that our council will vote on, I think will have a tremendous impact in the community. Not just from an education standpoint, but the fact that there'll be a lot of coordination of organizations and services as a result of this particular item and the support of the Immigrant Justice Initiative. And we have some members from Enlace here in chambers tonight. I want to thank you personally for the work that you are all doing, for the volunteers that are working with you as well, because I think that it is very underground. People don't always see it, but I know it. And I know that the work that we're investing in will have a tremendous impact in the community, and I thank you. Any additional discussion, comments?
Yep.
Councilmember Martin.
So I think my issue with what's happening here is the process that you've gone through. So during the period where we were working on introducing and updating our sanctuary city law, while there were issues from law and law not being ready to sign off on it, we as a body made a commitment to fill the gap in the meantime and say, these are things we're seeing occur in the immigrants and LGBTQ community, and we're allocating these funds specifically for housing and emergency assistance, recognizing that when families are separated and a provider is not in the home, issues arise with rent, housing, making sure kids get what they need. I am ultimately going to support this legislation, but I really have to comment on the process. You told me not once, not twice, not 3 times that these are the specific needs we're going to collaborate on. You then chose to completely erase me from the process regarding legislation I worked with community on to house and feed people. I told you, I'm okay with that. You do this all the time. All I want to do is ensure that these funds, especially with the uncertainty around SNAP, especially with the uncertainty around HEAP, goes to meet those material needs that our immigrant communities are facing. So while I am going to support this in acknowledgement of the very important work Enlace is doing, I think we really have to sit down and think about how you as a leader continue to erase women on this body and continue to move in a way that frankly lacks integrity. I sat with you again, even after I read this legislation where you completely erased me from, I sat with you behind closed doors and you said, we will amend and look for other funds to make this happen. I believed you, I followed up with you, and at the very last minute, 5 minutes before, you decided to change your mind. How we constantly go through this, oh, we can't work together, there's this issue, there's that issue. At every turn, I made an effort behind the scenes to work with you, and I will continue to make that effort in service to the community. But you have to take some responsibility in public for the way you moved around this. It's completely inappropriate.
Point of order. Could we stick to a discussion of the legislation?
I was speaking directly to the legislation,
Pardon
Bridget.
me, I'm sorry,
I was speaking directly to the
without
legislation.
personal attacks on council members per Robert's rules.
Well, I will say this much. We are going to move forward with the item. Certainly you have a very, council member, just to address you directly, certainly you have a very strong opinion of what happened and how it happened. And frankly, the way I'm going to move forward is there's always opportunity for us to amend the budget. And that's what I said at the very beginning before any remarks were made. And we will make sure that the spirit of the legislation, the original legislation that was passed in June, is honored. And I will work towards that end. And we can discuss process and how things went and how they didn't go and move forward from there. But certainly I will take your feedback and move forward. Any other discussion on the item? Hearing none, we will.
So I actually just want to say something quick.
Yes, Councilmember Lupien.
I think that process is relevant, and I just want to clarify personal attack versus discussing issues with the process. The process is something that the people deserve to know about, and it affects how we govern, and they need to know that. Calling you a name is different, right? Talking about how the process went, I don't view as a personal attack, and I just wanted to clarify that for those that are watching.
Well, I'll also add then, there was an attack in there, but that's okay. We'll move forward. So with that, we will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Lightfoot, the Public Safety Committee report, please.
Absolutely, Mr. President. To the Council, the Public Safety Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introduction number 418, authorizing a mandatory municipal agreement and amending the 2025-2026 budget related to the Monroe County Tobacco Vape Compliance Inspection Grant. Respectfully submitted by myself, by Councilmember Dr. Mitch Gruber, Councilmember Mary Lupien, Councilmember Stanley Martin, Councilmember Bridget Monroe, Councilmember Mike Patterson, Councilmember Ken Smith, Vice President Lachey Harris, Council President Miguel Melendez Jr., and myself, Councilmember Willie J. Lightfoot.
Thank you, Chairperson Lightfoot. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 418, authorizing a mandatory intermunicipal agreement and amending the 2025-26 budget related to the Monroe County Tobacco Vape Compliance and Inspections Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Councilmember Gruber.
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Monroe. Yes. Councilmember Patterson.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Smith. Vice President Harris.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. So some quick items.
President
There's
Melendez.
holiday happenings that are coming up.
President Melendez, I have one item before you close, if you don't mind. I just want to, in the spirit of transparency, introductory number 402 in NBD, I needed to abstain because of a family member. My great aunt owns that property, so I need to abstain. Can that be recorded as an abstention?
Clerk, do you have that at 402?
Yes, introductory 402 in NBD.
Thank you for that. Sorry about that. So a couple upcoming events that I want to highlight at the Rochester Public Market. So there will be a holiday market season coming up where there'll be various events. These can all be found on the city's website. But there's a special pre-Thanksgiving shopping day at the public market from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then there will be a holiday market on November 30th, December 7th, and December 14th. All of those dates from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And as we said in the beginning, the Native Maid Market is on the 29th from 11 p.m. to 5 p.m. Sorry about that. And then, Councilmember Lightfoot, I know that you have a screening, so I'd like to turn the floor to you.
I'll be very brief. Thank you, Mr. President. I have flyers if anyone wants a copy of the flyer. Through the work of the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition, supported by this administration, Rochester has been highlighted to be able to bring a Oscar-nominated short film, Death by the Numbers, film screening and community dialogue to Rochester. We're one of a few cities that have been asked to show this Oscar-nominated film, short film. Film is only about 33 minutes. It's going to be Saturday, December 6th at Prayer House Church of God by Faith on 270 Cumberland Street, 6 p.m. Registration is highly encouraged. Food will be provided. It's a free event open to the public, and a great discussion about the Parkland shooting and the events surrounding that. We will have one of the writers will be along with us, Sam Fuentes, who was a survivor of that particular mass shooting, and then discussions on how we can, strategies that we can do around keeping our communities and houses of worship safe. So once again, it's a film screening, and how many opportunities do we have to have an Oscar-nominated film to be presented here in Rochester, New York? I think that's a pretty cool opportunity, especially around the topic that we've been working so diligently and so hard, and we have a lot of successes in our community in reducing violence in the community, and it's a collaborative effort with everyone to include our men and women in blue, and we're so grateful for all of their efforts in reducing violence in our community. So once again, everyone is invited. We ask that you please register. WDKX is sponsoring this event as well, and we appreciate their support that they're allowing, as well as the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. And with no further business, we stand adjourned.